Hey everyone, and welcome to this highly requested explainer. Today, we are setting the stage for a zero-loss, absolutely exam-ready biology masterclass on the female reproductive and menstrual cycle. We're going to go line by line, skipping literally nothing, so that by the time we wrap up this session, you're going to have a rock-solid grasp of this entire biological timeline.
Okay, let's dive right into our syllabus for today. We'll be tackling 5 key areas. First, the basics of the cycle. Second, the hormonal control. Third, the 4 main phases. Fourth, the favorable conditions for fertilization. And finally, we'll do a rapid-fire review of those high-yield exam points.
All right, Section 1, Basics of the Menstrual Cycle. Let's get our foundational definitions down first. So what exactly is the menstrual cycle? Well, it happens during a female's reproductive years, which generally spans from about 12 or 13 years old all the way up to 40 or 45. During this massive phase of life, except when a pregnancy is happening, of course, a discharge of blood and the uterine mucosal lining occurs roughly every 26 to 28 days. This menstruation phase typically lasts for about 3 to 4 days. Because it happens at these super regular intervals, it's aptly named a cycle. Now, the natural conclusion to that reproductive phase is something called menopause. Right around the age of 40 to 45, menstruation naturally just stops. This is a massive biological marker because once menopause hits, pregnancy is no longer possible. There are also some associated physical changes that happen at this time, such as the breast becoming loose. Basically, it represents the permanent end of those 26 to 28 day cycles we just talked about. To really understand the end, we have to look at the beginning, right? And that's puberty. Around 12 to 13 years of age, menstruation begins in girls. But this isn't just a physical milestone. Biologically speaking, it's the absolute primary indicator of sexual maturity. It's the body's way of signaling that from this stage onward, it actually has the ability to conceive and carry a pregnancy. Moving right along to Section 2, Hormonal Control of Menstruation, because let me tell you, nothing in this cycle happens by accident. It's entirely orchestrated by chemical messengers. We have 4 absolutely crucial hormones acting like directors behind the scenes, each with a very specific job. First up is FSH, which stimulates the development of the follicles in the ovary. Second is LH, and this one is the trigger that actually causes ovulation to happen. Third, we have estrogen. Its main job is to physically thicken up that uterine lining. And fourth is progesterone, acting as the final prep crew, maintaining and preparing the uterus to actually support a potential pregnancy. Keep these 4 roles locked in your mind because they're the ones running the whole show. Now that we know who's in charge, let's map out the actual timeline in Section 3, the 4 main cycle phases. So, we basically divide a standard 28-day cycle into 4 distinct chapters. Phase 1 is the menstrual phase, taking up days 1 through 4. Phase 2 is the follicular phase, running from day 5 to 13. Phase 3 is just a single critical day, the ovulation phase on day 14. And phase 4 is the luteal phase, wrapping up the whole cycle from day 15 to 28. Let's zoom in on the daily mechanics of each one of these. We start off with the menstrual phase. Day 1 marks the beginning of the entire cycle. Over the course of days 1 to 4, the uterine lining, which the body had previously built up, starts to break down. By day 4, this broken down lining is completely discharged from the body along with blood. Think of it as the body essentially clearing the slate so it can start completely fresh. But the body doesn't waste any time. Almost instantly, it starts rebuilding. Welcome to the follicular phase, which kicks off on day 5 and lasts right up until day 13. During this window, driven by that FSH hormone we talked about, follicles inside the ovary actually start to develop and grow. At the exact same time, the uterine lining actively starts thickening up again, getting ready just in case a fertilized egg arrives. Now, this is wild. Day 14 is just one single day, but it is incredibly important. This is the ovulation phase. It's the exact moment a mature ovum, an egg, is finally released from the ovary. And remember our hormonal directors? This precise release doesn't just happen randomly. It's triggered by a massive, sudden spike in the LH hormone. Right after ovulation, we enter the final stretch, the luteal phase, spanning days 15 to 28. That follicle that just ruptured to release the egg, it transforms into a brand new structure called the corpus luteum. And this corpus luteum immediately gets to work secreting progesterone to prep the uterus. But here's the biological if-then logic. If fertilization does not occur by day 28, the corpus luteum simply degenerates. Without it, the progesterone levels drop, the lining breaks, and boom, menstruation begins all over again. So if we pull back and look at the big picture, it forms a perfect continuous loop. Menstruation leads straight into the follicular phase, which builds up to that critical ovulation on day 14. That triggers the corpus luteum formation and progesterone secretion. And if there's no fertilization, it loops right back around to menstruation. It's just a brilliant, self-repeating biological clock. But what happens when that loop is actually interrupted? Let's check out Section 4, Favorable Conditions for Fertilization.
It all really comes down to biological math. Think about the lifespans involved here. The ovum, the egg, has a really short lifespan of about 24 to 48 hours max after ovulation. If it isn't fertilized in that super tight 48 to 72-hour window, it degenerates. On the flip side, sperm have a lifespan of about 48 to 72 hours once inside the female body. Because sperm can hang around and wait for a few days, and the egg only survives a short time after day 14, mathematically speaking, the window between the 11th and the 18th day of the cycle is the prime time, highly favorable for conception. But hey, timing isn't everything. For fertilization to actually be successful, 4 strict physiological conditions have to be met. Number 1, ovulation absolutely must occur. Number 2, the oviduct or fallopian tube has to be open with 0 blockages. Number 3, the uterus must be totally free from infection to safely support a pregnancy. And number 4, the sperms introduced have to be healthy and fully active. If even one of these 4 conditions is missing, fertilization is pretty much a no-go. All right, we've gone through the mechanics, the hormones, and the conditions. Let's bring it all home with Section 5, high-yield exam points.
This is the stuff you absolutely have to memorize cold for your exams. Let's run through it. The total length of the cycle, 28 days. The menstrual phase, that stays 1 to 4. Ovulation, always pin it to the 14th day. Ovum lifespan, 24 to 48 hours. Sperm lifespan, 48 to 72 hours. The highly fertile window, 11th to 18th day. And lastly, menopause typically hits around 40 to 45 years of age. Those are your absolute gold standard metrics. And to make sure you literally never mix up the chronological order on a test, I've got a great little memory trick for you. Just remember MFOL. M is for menstrual, F is for follicular, O is for ovulation, and L is for luteal. Memorize MFOL and you're going to construct that cycle timeline perfectly every single time. One last super quick review before we wrap up. Let's lock in those chemical directors one more time. FSH, that equals follicle growth. LH, that's ovulation. Estrogen, uterine growth. And progesterone, pregnancy maintenance. Honestly, it's as straightforward as just matching the specific hormone directly to its main physical job. Well, before I let you go, I want to leave you with something to really think about. We've just seen how incredibly exact this 28-day biological clock is, right? Down to specific hours and sudden hormonal spikes. Knowing all of this, how do you think everyday lifestyle factors, things like extreme stress, lack of sleep, or sudden diet changes, might disrupt these delicate and precise hormonal triggers? It's pretty fascinating to think about how our external environment directly messes with our internal biology. Keep studying hard, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.